Good morning, class. Myself, Deepak Rao, and today we are going to discuss a topic reproduction. What is the meaning of reproduction? First, we will understand the meaning of it. If we break this term into re and production, then we are going to know the exact meaning of it. As we know, re means again, and production means to produce something. So, by this term, we can say that reproduction is a process by which the organisms can produce the their offspring which are on their own kind, the same kind as they are exactly. Means जैसा एक ऑर्गेनिज्म होता है वो अपने ही जैसा एक नया ऑर्गेनिज्म डेवलप करता है, उस प्रोसेस उस कैपेबिलिटी को कहा जाता है रिप्रोडक्शन. इट मीन्स this reproduction is shown by all living organisms. Means all the organisms which are living on the earth, they will show this kind of capability, that is reproduction. Why it is important? It is important to maintain their number or the species. Means if any organism will reproduce, it means it is after a particular time it is forming, it is producing their offspring which are exactly similar to the parent. So what will happen by this? By this they can easily maintain their number on the earth, or they can maintain their species. If any organism will not show this reproduction process or the capacity or the capability, then what will happen? They will not be able to maintain their number, or after certain time any species or any organism will keep on dying and they will finish on the earth. So for their existence the reproduction is important. Okay, now the types of reproduction. If we see the types of reproduction, then basically it is of three types. One is the vegetative reproduction, the other one is the asexual reproduction, and the last one is the sexual reproduction. Okay, so we'll see one by one that what are the meanings of these kind of reproduction, and these reproduction are shown by which kind of organisms. First we are taking the vegetative reproduction. This kind of reproduction is shown by the plants. Means this is the reproduction which is only shown by the plants and not by the whole plants. The plants which are specific and which cannot show the sexual or the asexual type of reproduction, only those plants will show this vegetative type of reproduction. So if we see this term vegetative, so the vegetation word is already related to the plants. So by that term we can understand that vegetative means vegetation and vegetation means the plants. So the plants are the organism which will only show this vegetative type of reproduction. Okay, now how the plants will show this vegetative reproduction? By any plant part. Means by the help of any part of the plant, whether it is the leaf, whether it is the stem, or it is the root. Any part of the plant can produce the new plant which is of similar type, that is known as the vegetative reproduction. Now we'll see one by one the types of vegetative reproduction. First one is reproduction by roots. Okay, in this we'll understand that roots of some plants produce the another type of plants which is similar in structure and similar in the function, that is known as the vegetative reproduction by roots. Next is the reproduction by stem. In this we can see the sweet potato, that is the example of the reproduction by the roots. Next is the reproduction by the stem, means the stem part of the plant will produce the next kind, the similar kind of the plant. That is, the example is the potato. We know in the potato what will happen. The potato, suppose it is a potato and this is the stem which it grows, it develops under the ground. So this potato will generate a kind of bud on it, and that bud, if we break this or if we cut this bud and again we saw it into the soil, then what will happen? From here again the new potatoes will generate. So that's why we are saying that the potatoes are generated by the plant part, and that's why we are calling it the vegetative reproduction by the stem. Next is the reproduction by the leaves. Now here we'll understand that any leaf part will generate another kind of plant, another the new plant which is of same type, that is known as the reproduction by leaf. And the example is the bryophyllum leaf. Here what will happen in the bryophyllum leaf, suppose if we see the figure of the leaf, then we'll know it that what is exactly happening here. Suppose this is a leaf of the bryophyllum, so, and on the margin of the leaf what is happening here, some root nodules will generate, and from these root nodules on this leaf margin the root nodules will generate, and from these root nodules again a new kind of plant will form. So this is how, and we can separate out these buds from the leaf after the generation of the new plant, and we can sow them into the soil. So this is how the new bryophyllum plant will be generated or the produced. So this is how the vegetative reproduction works. Now this was all about the natural reproduction, natural vegetative reproduction. Why it is natural vegetative reproduction? Because all these processes into the plants are happening naturally. Nobody, no human beings are involved in that process. Nobody is going and giving the instructions to the bryophyllum leaf to generate the new plant. They are doing by their own, by themselves. That's why we are calling them the natural vegetative reproduction. It means there must be the artificial vegetative reproduction also, and this artificial vegetative reproduction means this is performed or this is done by the human beings. Okay, so by the man, by the human beings or by the person, by the people, these processes are completed. That's why this is known as the artificial vegetative reproduction. The first type of the artificial reproduction is the cutting. What actually we do in this is, cutting means a person, for the purpose of the benefits, for the beneficial purpose, that person is doing what he is doing, he is cutting. Suppose one plant is having and the another plant it is having. So what is actually happening here, this plant is having very good root part or the stem part, but the flowers which are coming on the aerial part are not good. But in this plant what is happening, the aerial part is very much good and the bottom part is not good. So what the person will do for his beneficial purpose is, he will cut that part and he will cut that part also, and he will remove it and he will implant that plant, that upper part of the second plant on the first plant. So this part is known as stalk, and this is known as the scion. Okay. So this is how what will happen. The third type of plant will be produced or he'll get, and what will happen here, this plant is having the stem and the root part of first plant, and the aerial part means that is the flower part of the second plant, and both the part are very good in function. So this plant will produce very much good kind of flowers and the fruits, so that person will get more amount of and good amount of good quality of the flowers and he will get more benefit from those flowers. So that is known as the artificial vegetative reproduction by cutting. Second is the layering. Now in this layering, what is done, the plant which are having very soft stem and the flexible stem. So in those plants, what is done here, in those plants, suppose this is the branch of the plant, we are just holding it, we are just holding that branch of the plant from our hand, and this branch we are putting under the ground, under the soil, and we are putting some soil over it and then providing some water. So what will happen at that part, after some time the roots will be generated and here from here the new plant will be formed. So this is how and then we can cut this branch from here, so this plant will be separated plant from this plant. This is how we are forming the new plant with the help of the layering. Okay. Second, the next one is the grafting. Grafting is the another method which is similar to the cutting. Here also what we do, we cut one part of the plant and we implant that part of the plant on the another part, another plant which is very good in nature. So by the grafting again we will get very good quality of flowers and the good quality of plants. That's why we are calling it the grafting. The example of the grafting is the rose. So this was all about the vegetative reproduction. So we will again recall it, what exactly the meaning of reproduction is and what is the meaning of the vegetative reproduction. So as I told you that reproduction is the production of the same kind of offspring which the parents are actually, that is known as the reap and production, again to produce something, and this process is shown by all the living organisms to maintain their species or their number on the earth, or their existence on the earth. If we talk about the types of reproduction, it is vegetative, asexual and the sexual reproduction. The vegetative reproduction means that is shown by the vegetation, or we can say that this is shown by the plants, and any part of the plant, whether it is the root, stem or the leaf, will show that kind of reproduction, will produce the next another kind of plant. If we talk about the types of vegetative reproduction, it is divided into two parts, that is the natural vegetative reproduction and the artificial vegetative reproduction. The natural vegetative reproduction means the plant itself are producing another plant by any plant part, whether it is the root, stem or leaf, and the artificial means by the man-made this process is done. For today, we are stopping here. We'll continue this part in our next class with the asexual and the sexual reproduction. Thank you.